This is going to be a special episode of a whole lot of suck, but a whole lot of adapt and overcome. Hey everybody, this is going to be a 3-part video, mini-series if you will. When editing the first 2, I saved them, and when I come back and was getting ready to post them up onto YouTube, I discovered that the audio was all jacked up. There were sections where the audio was completely removed, and then it was put on top of audio over here instead, and then stuff that was over there got swapped over here. It was all jacked up. I don't know what happened, but since I'd already deleted all the clips and all I had was that one done file, I lost a lot of clips when I started going back and fixing it. So there will be voiceovers on some spots, and then you'll hear something weird in the background or something, and that's just probably not supposed to be there. Part 2 is going to be the one that's really affected. It was real bad. Part 3, it's looking good. Keep that in mind when you're listening, when my voice changes and when things just don't seem right. That's probably what's going on. Originally, this was going to be about a boy getting his first car. A nice little beater. And it was going to show us how to make a better beater. But instead, hit a deer. Had the car for 10 days. I was still shaking it down, trying to figure out what all kind of stuff we needed to do to it. And I hit the deer on the way to work. I was able to drive it home. If you want to split hairs, it's totaled. But I'm not going to let us throw away that much money. Beaters like this aren't cheap anymore. We got $4,700 into it, and it lasted 10 days. Instead, this is going to be how to fix this without spending a whole bunch of money. My goal is $2,000. So first things first, I've got to assess the damage. So apparently I got pretty lucky on this. When this happened, the bumper never got touched. It's perfect, almost perfect. But that means the airbags didn't go off, neither one of them. That is huge, in my opinion. Passenger side airbag, there's no coming back from that, not on a beater. Driver's side I could have recovered from. Passenger side, it just does too much damage. It pretty much would have totaled the car, which again, technically it is totaled. This is more than it's worth if you're paying for labor. I don't pay for labor. Well, a little bit. The driver's side's fine. There is nothing wrong over there. So the deer hit like right about here, maybe a little bit. Damaged the fender all the way back to here. The door is fine. The mirror is fine. He smacked his head right here. Spit, puke, whatever. I don't know what it is. But then keep on going. Look at this. It's all fine. I drove it home. I didn't even stop. I saw the deer right in front of me. It was too late. I turned the wheel, smacked him. He rolled into a ditch, never came back out of it, at least not under his own power. About a half mile up, pulled over at a McDonald's and took this picture. Sent it to the wife. I feel bad because I killed the boy's car before he even got a license. Like I said, now it's time to make a list. Assess the damage and figure out what all we need to do. Oh, yeah. This I can probably save. Oh, man. So I knew that it was running hot when I drove it home. I was having antifreeze spraying up on the windshield, and I could smell it. Plus, it was steam. But I watched the temperature gauge, and it was only a few miles to get back. Yeah, that tank, that whole radiator shot. And I don't even know if the AC worked or not, but it doesn't work now, which that condenser looks like it was pretty well shot anyways. My plan is I'm going to try to pull this out. And if I can't, it bolts off, or bolts on, unbolts, whatever you want to call it. So I can try and straighten that, and if not, I can go to a junkyard and get that. This obviously is not good, but it's better. And I'll mess with it more as I get further into it. I should be able to fold this down, hammer that flat, pull this back around once the radiator and the AC condenser are taken care of. So it's a process. It's a process. I'm noticing one of the fans is okay. So I'm only down one fan, that's good, half the cost. What you should do, if you're able to, whenever you take a bolt out and take a mounting point off, put it back together. That way, in 6 months when you put it back together, you don't have to figure out what the hell happened to your pieces. And here we go, a couple hours later. Looking in here, there is 0 damage from the deer. Nothing. So it was exactly what my initial thoughts were. Fender, hood, radiator, AC condenser. I might replace that core support, might not. I'm gonna see if I can't tweak it. And grill and trim. Like I said, headlights are already ordered because, well, yeah, that's why. It seemed cheaper just to replace them than for me to spend my time trying to clean it. My $2,000 estimate is looking pretty good. Paint and fenders and stuff's gonna put a big dent in it, but still. A couple days later, went to local junkyard, not so much local, but in Columbus, and I picked up a fender. It's 35 bucks. Can't beat it. They had a blue one, but it was a worse shape than this. And then I've got radiator condenser coming in, eBay, $117. I've got headlights. I've got little Ziploc baggies, fender hardware, AC condenser. Something else, don't lose that 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter doing 10 millimeter things. All those memes are real. I almost forgot this piece goes in the fender. Now you see there's no grinding or popping when I open and close the door. Now right here looks a little funny. Oh, look at that. You can see where the fender is sticking up. Yep, it's supposed to be flush like this one. So just as expected. I'll mess with that later though. I think I can make it good. There's a bolt right up in here. I'm leaving this pulled back right for now so I can access it if need be. Now here is what's holding me up a little bit. That bolt's supposed to be here. This one goes into the headlight. I'm looking over here. The rusty one, you see it goes into that piece of plastic, which is part of the headlight. But I mean, you can see right here on this hole how it's folded in right here. So I need to tug on this a little bit more, which I can't do in the garage, and it's pitch black out there. So I need to pull on this. I need to do a little massaging. I still need to try and mess with that. But looking down the side of this, it looks good. All right, it's the following week. El Presidente thinks I can just toss this hood on and send it to the paint and body, but it's not happening. As you can see, we got a hood on there right here. At this point, I'm still delusional and I think that I'm going to be able to save this core support piece. I'm not sure what I'm saying, but I'm talking about how it's not lining up. Now, if you look at this, when I drop the hood down, it doesn't even go down all the way. The latch, well, actually the hasp on the hood is sitting on the core support. So naturally, I think I can just push it back and everything will be good. So let's go ahead and do that. Kick. Did that do the trick? Yeah, it's still not far enough. I reach under and realize I've got to push that back like almost an inch. Yeah, not very promising. I should have known then it needs replaced. But let's try some more beating. I hate doing this. All right. Not a total win, but definitely not a fail. This fender is in just a little bit too far. And the gap over here is huge. So the gap over here is just nowhere near right. The hood overlaps the fender. This side, it's a huge gap. You could throw a dead cat through here. It's that bad. So I'm probably gonna end up moving the hood over and adjusting it that way. And I did end up moving fenders and the hood. You know, it's just not lining up, and I need to make it all work and look better. Okay, see, that's a huge gap. I should not be able to get a fingertip in there. Yeah, look at that. Like I said, over here, you can see it's overlapping on top of the fender. It's just not right. Yet back here, it lines up better, but from this angle, you can see it's sitting low for some reason. This core support is junk. I've been fighting this core support all evening, hoping I could straighten it out. I thought I was gonna be able to straighten it out. I can't straighten it out. So I just ordered a new core support, and now I'm waiting on that. Now it's time to reflect on looking at this core support and trying to figure why I thought I could fix it. It is twisted, it is folded, it's kerfaggled, it's just, I mean, look at this, it's garbage. So it's just gonna be a few bolts on each side. New one will be here in a day or two. And the new one went on there surprisingly easily, considering that that side is actually still bent up a little bit. But that's okay. Live and learn, I guess. So now I need to figure out something else to do, like the radiator. So I think the radiator got a little bit bent. Not so much here or here so much, but like right there, a little bit bent. Now, this thing is trashed. So this fan obviously is junk. This other one I thought was still good, but last time I fired up the car, it made some really nasty screaming noises. So I'm gonna go ahead and change that out too. All of that is being replaced. New radiator, new fans, all of it fairly cheap. eBay. And I found a problem. Up here's the top. This is the fill. And this is where the upper radiator hose goes. So of course, stuff down here. So this is obviously the bottom. So I'm looking at it the same way. This one's sitting with all the stuff up here on top. So looking at the two fans, I know the big fan will go on my left and the small fan will go over here on the right. First one drops in no problem. The second one, it's looking okay so far, but see this little nub, it goes into the hole, and that's what locates it. This is on the bottom of the radiator. It just drops in, and then you have retaining up top, two 10mm bolts. So this other one, I drop it down in there just like it's supposed to go, boom. But here's the problem. This side does not line up. See how the nub is to the left and the hole is to the right. So now I gotta figure, is the nub wrong or is the tab with the hole wrong? So I come up here and I look, and these seem off a little bit. So now I'm not sure what's what. But now I'll move it to where it's sitting on the tab as if the nub wasn't there. And the hole is lining up almost perfectly. Matter of fact, if I just move it a little bit, it will be absolutely perfect. And I can do this. So all I need to do is shave this off, use a cutoff wheel, just cut that off of there, and then I can drill a hole up through here into that nylon and just run a nut and a bolt through there. And it will be perfect. And then I don't have to worry about anything breaking from vibrations. That way it'll still be secure on four corners instead of just skipping one. I could just leave that one undone, but then it's gonna vibrate and that's just not good. Don't need to half-ass it if you don't need to. I guess that's what I'm saying. All right, let's get everything ready to do that. So yeah, I just drilled a hole through the nylon, had a bolt, had to cut it down because it was too long, get it up in there, and now we're back to normal speed. A magnetic retriever. I can't fit my fat finger into that small channel to hold the screw. So I'll hold it with a magnetic retriever and then start the screw by hand. Once it actually catches on the threads and starts spinning on there, then I can get rid of the magnetic retriever. There it is. get the screwdriver bit onto the driver, and now I can hold it with my fat finger. It doesn't need to drop down in there. Done. Now, you see, nice, clean, beautiful repair. I got washers on either side, and it's just, it looks like it belongs there. Oh, wait a second. Now it does. The only drawback is the hardware might rust someday. That's it. Otherwise, it's perfect. That is not rigging it. That is a good repair. It's never going to come loose. It's never going to come off. And it's more than adequate. Matter of fact, that is stronger and better than the factory. This is actually stronger than the nub into the hole setup that they did from the factory. This is going nowhere. Matter of fact, all I have to do now is flick it and say it's not going anywhere. And it's good. Here's where it stands now. Notice the hood is no longer overlapping the fender, but now we've got a large gap over here. So I need to do some work on that. Hopefully the core support piece will come in soon and I can change that out and then we can keep on going. It's getting better. And here's one that surprised me. I'm not a fan of Fram. Their oil filters are garbage. Their regular orange ones are garbage. I took this photo myself. The Fram on the left, you notice it has a cardboard end plate on the bottom, as well as the other two have metal. There's a spring that's missing, and also look at how little bit of material there is on the Fram. But this was the only one on the shelf that was concentrate to add water. And it cost the same as the 50-50 pre-mixed. So I'm literally buying twice as much antifreeze for the same cost. When I was in high school, I was a senior in high school, and I had just had a radiator freeze because I didn't get the mixture 50-50. I wasn't too bright. Anyways, I'd come up with an idea. This was back in 92, maybe 93. And I'd come up with an idea to make sure that nobody could have this problem again. And I said, hey, why not sell 50-50 premixed antifreeze? That way there's no guessing. You don't just dump a gallon in and then pour water in until it overflows. This way, it's a 50-50 mix. My teachers, my shop teachers, my parents, they're all like, oh, shut up, stupid. Nobody would ever buy that. Yes, that was my support crew. First $1 million idea.